You are 34 years old and you have never owned more than a 2-bedroom condo in Lincoln Park. Your life is clean. You underwrite deals for a mid-sized real estate private equity shop in Chicago. You run models until 1 a.m. You know every cap rate compression story in the Midwest, and you sleep reasonably well because none of it is actually your money. Then on a Thursday in November, the lawyer calls. Your uncle, the one you only saw at Thanksgiving, has died. He left everything to you. No spouse, no children, no other relatives who wanted it. The portfolio is $187 million in gross asset value, 17 properties. 4 of them are in default. 2 more are 90 days from default. The bank has already sent the first default notice package. You hang up the phone and stare at the spreadsheet the lawyer emailed. Vacancy is 41%. Deferred maintenance backlog is $19.4 million. The largest asset, a 312-unit garden apartment complex outside Indianapolis, has negative cash flow of $187,000 a month. Congratulations, you just inherited a troubled real estate portfolio. You fly to Indianapolis the next morning. The property manager meets you in the leasing office. The carpet in the hallway smells like mold. 3 tenants are waiting outside to complain about heat. You nod. You smile. You pretend you know what you're doing. That night, you sit in a Marriott and open the files. Every single loan has a personal guarantee from your uncle. The banks are not asking nicely. They want a capital call of $14 million within 60 days or they will foreclose. You learn the first rule the hard way. When you inherit the asset, you inherit the guarantees. The money is not in the portfolio. The money is now your problem. You sell the 2 smallest assets at a loss just to stop the bleeding. You learn what a 1031 exchange really is when the clock is ticking and you have no replacement properties lined up. You pay the tax anyway. You meet the lenders. They are polite in the conference room and ruthless in the term sheet. They want 2% per month on the default interest. They want updated appraisals. They want you to put in fresh equity before they will even discuss forbearance. You start sleeping 4 hours a night. You stop answering calls from friends. You learn that troubled real estate does not feel like an investment. It feels like a 24-hour hostage situation, where the hostage is your sleep and your reputation. You bring in a new third-party management company. You raise rents 11% on the units that can handle it. You evict 47 tenants in a single quarter. The local news runs a story about corporate greed. You do not comment. You restructure the 2 worst loans. The bank agrees to extend maturity only if you pledge the performing assets as additional collateral. You sign. You now understand cross-collateralization the way soldiers understand friendly fire. It protects the bank and traps you. Cash flow turns slightly positive for the first time in 3 years. You feel a small victory. Then the roof on the Indianapolis property fails during a storm, and the insurance adjuster tells you it was wear and tear, not covered. Another $2.8 million out of pocket. You begin to see the pattern. Every time you fix one leak, 2 more appear somewhere else. You are no longer the guy who inherited the portfolio. You are the guy who owns it. You bring in a joint venture partner, a family office that likes value-add stories. They put in $38 million for 49% of the equity. The term sheet is 47 pages long, and every page favors them. You sign anyway. Liquidity is more important than pride. You learn the real power move. Never sell the good assets to fix the bad ones. Instead, you borrow against the good ones at 65% LTV to keep the bad ones alive. The interest is 4.9%. The assets are still throwing off 7.2% cash on cash before debt service. The spread is your new best friend. You stop thinking about fix and flip. You start thinking about permanent claims on cash flow. The portfolio is now cash flow positive by $4.1 million a year. On paper, you have turned it around, but you understand something deeper now. The real value was never in the buildings. It was in the structures you built around them. You have 3 assets in Delaware statutory trusts with stepped-up basis for your future heirs. You have a $92 million credit facility that never has to be repaid while the assets are performing, only rolled. You have tax losses carried forward that will shelter income for the next 9 years. You realize your uncle didn't leave you a troubled portfolio. He left you with the machine. The same machine the ultra-wealthy use on purpose. Borrow against the asset, Never trigger the taxable event, let it compound forever, and pass it on with a stepped-up basis so the government never sees the gain. The trouble was just the entry ticket. You were sitting in the same Marriott you stayed in 3 years ago. The portfolio is now worth $241 million. Your equity is $91 million. You have not sold a single property. You look at the spreadsheet one last time. If you had sold everything on day one and paid the taxes, you would have walked away with roughly $47 million after tax. Instead, you kept the assets alive, restructured the debt, brought in partners, and built the lattice. The difference is not better management. The difference is that you refused to subtract. You finally understand why the wealthy never sell. Selling is the worst thing you can do with an asset that is working, even when it looks broken. Because an asset that generates cash, secures debt, and compounds is alive. Cash is inert. Cash gets taxed when it arrives. Cash gets eroded by inflation while it waits. An asset is a permanent claim on the world's productive output. And once you see the architecture, you cannot unsee it. You close the laptop. Somewhere in Chicago, a 29-year-old analyst just got a call from a family office. He thinks he is about to advise on a troubled portfolio. He has no idea the education is about to begin. The machine does not stop. It simply finds new people to run it.